Battlefield 2042 has a communication problem, and I want to break that down a little bit in this video.
Welcome
to Uplink. Before we get started, I want to mention our podcast that we do called The Battlefield Show, and that releases every Friday. Myself and Sammy Boy produce that podcast on all things Battlefield and Battlefield 2042. Go check it out on this channel every Friday or wherever you find podcasts. If you're keeping up to date on Battlefield, we have seen literally nothing. I mean, we've seen a little bit of it, but we have not seen quite enough to be from today, a month and 1 day if you pre-order it to the early access release date of October 15th. Oh boy, what the heck's going on? So the last time we've heard from DICE in terms of a massive announcement was the Exodus short film, and that was August 13th. That was the last bit of legitimate expansion of the details around the game, and even that was just more of a cinematic part of the showing. And then next to that, the next big kind of expansion was the announcement of Irish Graves, and that was on August 17th. August 17th, 2021 was the last time we saw like a big new announcement. Now we've gotten more details for sure. We've gotten, let's see here. We got a terribly timed and terribly placed meme around the beta announcement, where it was a meme that says the beta is coming in September. I told you it's coming in September. Oh, well, September has 30 days and blah, blah, blah. The terribly timed kind of expansion of that. We got a lovely bit of kind of mourning of the loss of Michael K. Williams. And then after that, we saw more gameplay and more to come. Kind of a deeper dive into the specialists in Battlefield 2042. But in my opinion, that is not enough. That is not enough. And I want to break it down in terms of why I think that. And before all of the fanboys that find this frustrating that the game's not even out yet, take your time, buddy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, calm down. I understand we are not entitled to an open beta, but they have announced an open beta, and they announced it with the announcement of the game. So we are technically expecting a beta for this game. Now, I understand if you don't think there should be a beta, like you're fine, let's just step aside and play the game when it comes out. That's fine if you're under that belief. But they did announce that a beta was to come and that we're going to see more details on the game. At this point, it's more of a demo than it is a beta, so I understand that viewpoint as well. Also, my experience with this type of thing. I work in marketing for tech companies, and I do social media management. So this is an area of expertise that I have professional experience with. This is something that I do on a day-to-day basis and as part of the company that I run. So there's some of my experience with this. I'm not coming like some couch surfer that is just like, oh well, if I was running this, it'd be so much different and blah blah blah. I do have experience in this field, so I do have some credence to what I'm saying here. Now that being said, all of the kind of calm down bumpers. Okay, I understand that this is a massive game. The team is working under a massive time crunch, and they're working in a time of day in current day and age where they're working from home and they have a massive amount of pressure on that. They aren't able to work in the way that they normally did in previous Battlefield titles. So I understand all of this, and this is coming into my perspective. I'm not going to completely hate on them. I am very, very disappointed in the amount of communication and the level of communication that we've gotten. It does not take much to be able to communicate. Even if you're saying, oh hey, we're still working on the game, way to go, these are internal bug tests that we've been doing, like we that does not matter in the grand scheme of thing, but it helps us with the communication. Even if you're like putting a little thing that Boris is the best and this is some little bit of gameplay that we have on him, or like, it does not take much. And I understand, I was expecting some news today, but I do understand the time frame considering that Saturday we had 9/11, so there was not an ideal time frame to drop anything there. Monday, stuff was going on. It's fine. Mondays suck for everybody. But it's such a weird time to be a Battlefield fan, considering the lead up to the marketing. And I have seen some discussion here that what's changed. The marketing was so good in the beginning. If you remember correctly, we were in the same position before the game was officially announced. We had tons of leaks. Everyone was really frustrated and hoping for them to announce something. So it's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented that there was a silence there. So it's understandable to kind of wash that away. But eventually we did get some really good communication. I just mentioned the Exodus, and then 3 days later we got the Irish Graves announcement, and then that kind of just cut it off completely. I don't know what was happening, but the entire month, half a month there, all the way up to this time frame, it's just nothing. And I'm really concerned about what's going on there. I think they're really shafting the hardcore fan base. I know a lot of people have been trying to put on a positive spin, but you can only do that for so long. Also, this is a company and their main goal is to make money, which is not a bad thing at all. That's how companies work. But the massive amount of kind of just fanboyism and tribalism around these games is frustrating. Like, you can't really say anything negative, but you can't really say anything positive because there isn't anything positive to mention. It's a lack of things. And you look over on the Call of Duty side of things, and they're doing pretty good over there. Like they're coming up a month later than Battlefield 2042, and we already know a lot more about the game than Battlefield does. And I'm really concerned about what's going on there in terms of what the game looks like. What state is the game in? Is it going to launch with a bunch of bugs? Is that why they're not talking about things? But also, in every other instance of tech that I work in, except for gaming, there's a specific marketing arm. There's a specific team dedicated to managing social media presence. Like, there's a specific group. But it seems in gaming, they don't give that group enough strength or information to be able to do their job properly. And we get into this weird thing where the developers are working on things, but the social media and marketing team don't have enough to actually produce, or they may be limited in what they can talk about. It's so weird considering we're a month from launch in terms of the early access for people who pre-order. And I'm not saying you should pre-order. In fact, I would recommend against pre-ordering until we see some kind of more communication and more gameplay from it. So definitely hold off on that. If I wasn't producing content for this channel on Battlefield, I would have waited for sure. I would waited until we saw gameplay. And like, I am still super pumped around this game, but it's also concerning considering the problem with Battlefield 5, and they've said this many times, they said this in investor call meetings, the problem with Battlefield 5's success was its marketing, and there wasn't enough of it. There wasn't a big push, and yet here we are talking about the same thing around Battlefield 2042. I think they were really pumped about the hype around it when they first announced it, and now they're sitting on a kind of pride that, oh yeah, we're definitely good, we don't need to communicate. And well, Rockstar can do that for sure. They're a massive company. They've shown that they can put in the work and make a really successful product. DICE is not in that position. We had the kind of messed up launch with Battlefield 5 and the continued support on that, where it ultimately got canceled. We had Battlefront 2, which had kind of the same thing, but to a much greater scale, launching a whole movement against loot boxes in games. And then we kind of had the subpar release of Battlefront 2015. Battlefield 1 was really good. But man, it's frustrating to be so hyped around a game and then not to have any kind of expansion of what's there or anything like that. It's a weird time to be a fan of Battlefield right now. And I really hope that the next day after this gets posted that I'm proven wrong. But It's really weird considering we're on Tuesday, and they just said we're going to see more gameplay. We haven't seen anything, so I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if I'm unfounded. I think I've made some pretty good points, but if there's a point I've missed and you want to point that out, definitely let me know in the comments. Please try to be civil. But if you did like this video, please do consider liking. If you disliked it, other button works as well. Please do consider subscribing and joining this community. We're super pumped, but I do want to stay honest to my opinions and kind of show that, you know, this is a gigantic company. If there are criticisms to be made, I want to be able to make those without fear. So definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the battlefield.